Hello everyone and welcome back to Invincible Guarding the Globe. Today I'll be going over artifacts in the game and basically covering what artifacts are, what each artifact does, what are the best artifacts to use, and what are the best heroes to use them with. So yeah, just giving an overall guide to artifacts for the game. I've had a few comments requesting this, so hopefully this helps. If this does help, then please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. I'll be having more content coming soon, more guides and more videos, etc. As well, I just want to say a big thank you for all the support in the previous videos. It has been absolutely crazy. All the new subscribers and all the likes and comments have been amazing, so thank you so much. And yeah, hopefully this helps you, whether you're a new player or played for some time, etc. This should definitely help you with that. So what are artifacts? Artifacts are, as you can see here, items within the game that you can attach to your heroes to give them different bonuses, basically. So each artifact has a stat bonus, and then each artifact does their own individual bonus that it basically can help your team in their fights. There's quite a few artifacts in the game, as you can see here. I don't actually have all of them, but I can give some insight into them. Some of them, as of right now, are only available to be acquired if you purchase them with real life money. So obviously some of them are locked behind a paywall, so some of them are less accessible than others, but obviously it's up to you, what you use in the game, and if you do spend any money, what you spend the money on. So yeah, artifacts, as we can see here as well, if you go into your homepage and you go to inventory, equipment, you can actually see what artifacts you have and what level they are, so you can level them up. And to level them up, if we look onto one here, you'll see that there is the actual artifact pieces that are required to level it up, depending on what level the artifact is at. Depends how many pieces you need. And then you also need artifact XP. Now there's 3 different versions of this depending on the level of the artifact. So it starts off with common artifact XP, then rare artifact XP, and then special artifact XP. So basically these XPs are what's used to level up your artifacts. To acquire these, you can either get them in certain shops, for example in the equipment shop, as you can see here, there's a couple there at the top. Also you can acquire them from anyone in the GDA ops. This will give you not only artifact pieces, but the artifact XP to level them up. So obviously have this running at all times to be able to get, as you can see here, the XP to level them up and the actual pieces themselves. So which artifacts are in the game? Let's have a look. So if we go into collection and then artifacts, you can see all the artifacts in the game, and you can see whether you have them or not, and you can also click onto them to see what they do and what level they are at. So what I'm going to do is basically just go through each of the artifacts, firstly describing what they do and how this could be useful, and giving my opinions on them, and then at the end I'm going to give an overall of what the best ones I feel are and which heroes work best with them. So starting at the top, Flax and Defense Barrier. This one, as we can see here, the ranged heroes present in the team receive a defense bonus equal to, in this case, 11% of the wielder's defense. Now, when you level up your artifacts, once they get to a certain point, I believe it's level 10, 20 and 30, the actual, as you can see here in yellow, the 11% for example actually increases. So that obviously that number is dependent on the level of the artifact. So if you level your artifact, that actually can increase. So as a level 10 this is 11%, but I believe at level 1 it's 9%, but just basically confirming that this number can change. But this artifact here, ranged heroes present in the team receive a defense bonus equal to 11% of the wielder's defense. So it is quite good. Obviously it's boosting the ranged heroes on your team, so you want to make sure you're actually using ranged heroes, and it's based on the wielder's defense. So basically the person you put this on, it's based on their defense stat that give the ranged heroes the bonus. So you ideally probably want to put this on a tank, a defender, because they have higher defense stats, so that will give the ranged heroes on your team a bigger boost. As you can see as well, under the stats, it also gives a defense and energy defense bonus. So not only does it give you the passive ability, but also the stat boost as well. So it's quite good. I wouldn't say it's one of the best in the game. Obviously, it is one of the more acquirable ones. You don't have to pay for it. It's quite common. So it is good to have, and obviously have it on your team. But I wouldn't go out of your way to necessarily get it. It's pretty decent, and if you are going to use it on a defender because they have the best defense stats. Then we've got the Flaxen spray gun. This the passive ability decreases the refill speed of the cooldown of all human enemies by 8%. So what this means is that the main ability of the enemy team, if they have the human tag, then basically their ability will recharge 8% slower, so they won't be able to use their abilities as often. If we see the humans here, we go to the tags, these are the human characters in the game. So basically any enemies that are any of these heroes, they will basically have slower abilities. Now this is quite a good artifact. I would say decreasing the refill rate of the enemy, or even increasing your own, is very useful, because the main abilities often can do quite game-changing effects. So this is quite good. As you can see, the stats also boost attack, energy attack, and critical damage. Now this one doesn't really do anything to the actual hero you add it onto. It's more so to the enemy. So this doesn't matter too much who you put it on. I would say it works best with the attacking hero, because they obviously get an attack boost and critical damage boost. So in this case I have it on my battle beast. It's up to you. You don't necessarily have to have it on anyone. You could have it on, for example, if you have a ranged hero at the back of the team, you could have it on them, because it doesn't affect, the actual wielder of the artifact. So it's a pretty good one. I wouldn't go out of your way for it. Again, it's quite a common artifact. Then we've got the GDA spy drone. This decreases the critical hit chance of ranged enemies by 9% for each original Guardian of the Globe or Guardian of the Globe ally. And it also increases attack, critical chance, and defense. So what this basically means that the critical hit chance of ranged enemies will be decreased by 9% depending on how many GDA allies you have on. Now it doesn't make it very clear. Decreases the critical hit chance of ranged enemies, right? Ally. So I believe that is based on your team. So the ally part means that if you have more GDA heroes on your side, the ranged enemies will have their critical hit chance reduced by 9% for each team member of the GDA faction. So if you have like a full GDA team, then that number obviously is massively increased. But if you have a couple or maybe 3 GDA heroes, then that obviously is still very good. This one is all right. If you have a lot of GDA heroes in your team, then it obviously works out way better and could make quite a difference. Again, it doesn't matter too much who you have this on. Again, it increases both attack, defense, and critical, so you can have it on anyone. Currently I have it on my Cecil, because I have my Cecil obviously in my GDA team. So yeah, it's pretty decent, and that's what it does. I wouldn't say it's too crazy, but basically you want this on a team member if you have GDA heroes in that team, basically. Then we've got the med kit, which is quite simple. It increases the wielder's healing effects by 8%. Again, these are all leveled up, so the numbers might be slightly lower usually. Also increases HP and defense. This is easy. Obviously you want this on your support, ideally one that does healing, so like Robot, Atom Eve. In this case I've got it on what's his name, Darkwing 2. So yeah, basically just have this on your support. It basically just increases their healing effects. So if you want your robot to do more healing, you put this on. This is quite a good artifact, I find. It's very easy to get, and obviously increases the healing of the team, which keeps them alive. So yeah, it's quite a good one. I wouldn't say it's too crazy, but it is good, and you definitely want it on your support heroes on your team. Next is the body enhancement. This one I have quite a high level, at level 27. it increases critical chance by 12% for each original Guardian of the Globe or Guardian of the Globe in your team. So basically, if you put this on a hero, it will increase their critical chance, and then for each GDA teammate, that chance is then times by the amount of teammates. So 12% for each teammate, basically. So I have this on my Invincible, in my main team, because I have also Immortal and Robot. So basically that 12% is then 24% because I've got two GDA teammates. Now this one also increases HP, defense, attack, and critical damage. So I would say that this one is actually very, very good. If you have, obviously, you need GDA teammates, but if you do have some GDA heroes in your team, then this one is a very good one because the critical chance is obviously heavily increased with this. So this one I would definitely say put it on attacker and have it with a team that has GDA teammates in it. Damien Darkblood's notes, this decreases the defense of all human enemies by 12%. So again, it's based on the human tag. It basically just decreases their defense by a certain percentage, in this case 12. It also increases the wielder's HP, energy defense, and energy attack. So this one you basically want on anyone in the team, because it doesn't really matter on who you put this on, it just affects the enemy. This one is quite good because most of the strongest, as of right now, a lot of the strongest enemies in the game have the human tag. So for example, Invincible, Atom Eve, etc. So this is actually a very good artifact. I've got mine quite a high level 19. I've got it on my Anissa because she also has a passive where she decreases the defense of human enemies, so this actually works well with her because it basically adds on to that existing bonus that she has on her kit. So yeah, it doesn't really matter too much. Again, it increases the HP and defense and energy attack, so maybe even a defender tank hero would work really well with it. But yeah, it isn't too crazy. Again, most of the artifacts are just bonuses onto your heroes, and they don't do anything too crazy, but this is quite a good one. And basically any enemies with a human tag on them will have a lower defense, basically, which is really nice. Then there's the Guardians of the Globe bracelet. This passive ability is when a hero uses it, it increases their defense by 3% and their critical chance by 1%. This is applied for each GDA present on the team. So obviously, again, this is dependent on GDA heroes. There's quite a few actually with the GDA heroes, but yeah, basically any GDA allies on the team increases this hero's defense, in this case by 3%, and the critical chance by 1%. So this one isn't the strongest. I would say this is quite weak. If you have, again, a full GDA team, then it stacks and it can be very useful. So if you have this one with a full GDA team and, for example, the GDA spy drone and the other one, which is the body enhancement, then obviously it works very well. But unless you have quite like 3 or 4 GDA heroes on the team, then I don't think it is too good. It is pretty decent. Again, I've got it on my shrinking ray here, but I wouldn't go out of your way for it. And obviously that's what it does. And also, obviously, stats wise, defense, physical defense, and energy defense. Now, the battle hologram is one that I actually do use on my main team, on my Atom Eve, level 24. So you can see at level 24, when the hero uses its ability, it reduces their allies' cooldown by 12%. Now, this is really good because it basically means when the hero uses their ability, any allies on your team, their main ability cooldown is reduced by 12% in this case. So I have this on Atom Eve because her cooldown is quite quick. If you have someone on the team that basically has a really quick ability to use, a quick cooldown of their ability, put this artifact on them, because it means that the more they use their ability, obviously going quite quickly, it means the rest of the team then get a decrease every single time that happens on their ability. So a good one, for example, would be Agent Spider, because he uses his ability at the start of the round. So basically every at the start of the round, everyone on the team would immediately get 12% cooldown reduction on their abilities, which is very good. So put this basically on anyone that has a quick cooldown on their ability, because it means that this will be used more often to help the rest of the team. In terms of the stats, they don't matter too much. Obviously, in this case, I've got it on Asami, my support. So yeah, quite a good one. I would say this one is worth definitely leveling up, because it massively helps the rest of the team, not only the person using it, which is nice. The neural link chip. This passive ability, when a hero uses it, it gives all heroes present in the team a bonus equal to 5% of the wielder's stats if the wielder is facing themselves. Now this is a bit confusing, and again you can see the stats are quite good on this one, quite a few stats on there. What this basically means that anyone on the team, it gives them a bonus of 5% in this case of the person you put this on wielder stats, in this case Doc Seismic. So 5% of his stats, the team get a bonus of that if Doc Seismic is facing himself. Now what this means, I believe, is just that there's a Doc Seismic on the enemy team. I don't think they necessarily have to be facing the enemy directly in the game. I believe it's just if they're on the enemy team, then that triggers the passive ability. So this is quite good if you obviously are doing matches where you can see the enemy team beforehand and you see that they have someone that you also have in your team. Then this obviously can be very good and work out, because it doesn't work unless the enemy team has one of the same heroes as you. So you obviously want to put this on the hero that is the same hero that is on the enemy team, if that makes sense. So yeah, quite a good one if the circumstances are right. The GDA cloaking device. Now this one, I would probably say, apart from maybe the paid ones, is probably one of, if not the best in the game. It's very, very good. Obviously the stats increases attack and critical damage, but basically when the hero using it becomes invisible in this case for 4 seconds, because I've got it to level 30. It's lower times, lower levels, but I've got it level 30, and their critical damage is increased by 40% for 6 seconds. The cloaking device is triggered every 16 seconds. So basically what this means is every 16 seconds the person using it becomes invisible for, in this case, 4 seconds, and means that if they're fighting someone, that person can't see them anymore, and they'll either just stand there whilst your hero attacks them, or they'll move away to somebody else and basically lose aggro on them. And it also increases the person, your character's critical damage, which obviously helps a lot. So this one is really good because I have it on my Omni-Man in my main team, and it basically means that whoever the person is fighting loses interest in them every 16 seconds, which can help them stay alive massively. So what I'd recommend for this one is having it on attacker and have it on someone who's on the front line. Someone in the back line maybe doesn't get the most use out of it, like a Universe or something like this. I don't see really the point in that, but I have it on my Omni-Man, and because he doesn't have the invincibility of, for example, Invincible, he can die quite quickly, but this helps keep him alive longer throughout the fight and also allows him to deal more damage. So it's basically just for someone who, if they can survive just 16 seconds in the round, it basically keeps them alive for longer. And I would say this is one of the best ones, and you should definitely prioritize this one. Next is the Burger Mart Burger, which I believe was given out when the game first launched, and there's been a few options to get it since then. Passive ability: when the hero's HP drops below 20%, it heals all allies on the team by 20% and increases their attack by 3% for 5 seconds, cooldown of 50 seconds. Now this one as well is a very, very good one. I would recommend getting this one leveled up as much as possible. This one I have, as you can see, on my Immortal, because it basically means that if the person using it, their health goes below 20, it heals everyone, including the person with the artifact or Immortal, and increases their attack by 3%. The attack, it's alright, but basically just gives them a health boost straight away, instantly, no questions asked, which obviously helps them keep alive longer. So with the Immortal, I've got him right in the middle, at the front of the team. So when a battle starts, everyone attacks him. He takes loads and loads of damage. This basically means that he can stay alive for longer, and he gets a health boost when his health drops low. And anyone else on the team that's also lost health will also get that boost. So this one definitely you should have, and you should definitely have it on your tank, your defender at the front. Now the Flaxen Drone Trap. This one, when the hero receives a debuff, it silences the enemy for 3 seconds and decreases their defense by 15% for 3 seconds. Now what this means is basically any debuff to the character. So if they are lit on fire, if they have drained health on them, etc., then it basically means it silences the enemy for 3 seconds, which means the enemy basically can't use their abilities and can't do anything extra on top of their normal attacks. It also decreases their defense by 15% in this case for 3 seconds. Now this one is good. As you can see, I've got it on my Alan. I would say this is quite a good one. Maybe not game changing, but definitely nice to have and definitely good to level up. You would probably want this on someone who's in the front line, who's receiving lots of debuffs from the enemy. So in this case, my defender, Alan. So yeah, it's quite a good one. That's what it does. I would say, yeah, it's a good one to have. The Cerulean Cosmos Flower is the next one. When any ally's HP drops below 25%, removes all the negative effects on them and applies healing over time equal to 15% of hero's current HP for 10 seconds, cooldown of 40 seconds. So this is very similar to the Bergamot Burger, again with a long cooldown, and basically means that if the ally's HP drops below 25%, then it removes the negative effects and heals them. Now this is good. This is a very good one to have. What I would recommend with this one is, because it's based on the ally's HP, not the wielder's HP, is having this one on someone in the back line. For example, in this case I've got Russ Livingston, and it basically means that anyone in the front line, if their HP drops below 25%, it heals them and removes negative effects. So this is a good one. It has quite a long cooldown, but helps basically keep any allies on the team alive for longer. So this is a good one, definitely worth leveling up, and that's how it works. And you definitely want it on probably a ranged character in your team. The Obedience Collar is another one I have on my main team. It's very good. Once every 21 seconds, applies a confusion state on a random enemy for 3 seconds, while increasing the enemy's attack by 30% for 3 seconds. So what this basically means is the confusion state means that the enemy gets confused and attacks one of their own teammates instead of your team. So every 21 seconds, an enemy will attack one of their own teammates for 3 seconds. And obviously it's increasing the enemy's attack by 30%, but it's for those 3 seconds. So the enemy basically attacks one of their own with an extra 30% damage, meaning they do more damage to their teammate. And then after 3 seconds, they recover from the state and they turn back to fight your team. But this is very good because it basically distracts one of the enemies every 21 seconds to give your team more of a chance to attack them. And obviously for those 3 seconds, which is quite a short time, but basically means the enemy does more damage to themselves, which also is very useful. So this one, it doesn't really matter too much who you have it on. I'd recommend having it on someone ranged. Robot, for example, I've got it on in my team because it doesn't really affect the wielder, it's more for the enemy. But this is a very good one because it helps confuse the enemy and give your team a better chance to defeat them. The next is the Flaxen Anti-Aging Bracelet. This one reduces the hero's main ability cooldown by 6%. So this is very good, very simple. Basically the hero's main ability is just reduced, in this case by 6%. So kind of like the battle hologram, it basically means the person using the artifact has their main ability, can use their main ability quicker. So you want to use this on someone whose main ability can make quite a difference in the team, and someone who either has a really long cooldown and you want to make it shorter, or someone who has a really short cooldown and you want to make it even shorter. So yeah, that is a good one to have. Definitely worth having, and quite a good one, definitely to use. The next one we've got here is the Martian Spear. Now we can see here the passive ability: every 11 seconds damages a random enemy at melee range for 70% of the hero's attack. So what this means is that every 11 seconds, if they're fighting someone within melee range, it just does damage to them 70% of the hero's attack. This is quite good because it gives basically just an extra burst of damage every 11 seconds. So it just means you can do more damage to the enemy. I don't think it's too game changing unless you have one DPS in your team that has really high. You've got leveled up really high compared to your rest of your team. It can obviously then do more damage. But this is nice just to have some extra damage. It does obviously require them to be at melee range, so you don't really want this on a ranged hero. So you want this on, for example, Invincible, Omni-Man, in this case, Agent Spider, or someone like this, so that they can be close enough to make use of the artifact. The next one we've got is the Mark Grayson's Earpiece. And this basically, every 12 seconds, creates an explosion around a random target that deals AoE damage equal to 90% of the target's attack power, and leaves a damage over time effect dealing 55% of the hero's attack power to the target for 10 seconds. So this, when you see it in game, basically looks like a sort of artillery strike, an explosion, obviously explosion as it says here, where an area around the target, a random target obviously in this case, any other enemy teammates around that area also get this effect, and basically means that it deals damage to them and then a damage over time as well. So it's nice to have. Obviously, if the enemies all clump together, it hits more of them, and it can deal quite a good amount of damage, obviously 90%, and then an additional 55% over time. And it's every 12 seconds. So I would probably say this one is better than the Martian Spear. So yeah, this is quite a good one. This one again doesn't really matter on like melee range or anything like that, or the wielder. So in this case, I've got it on my Universa because again, it's going to it's based on the attack stats. So you want this probably on the DPS, but you probably want this on a ranged one. I'm just having a look here of the target's attack power. So it's actually based on the target's of the hero's attack power to the target. So yeah, it's based on the target's attack power, but then the damage over time is of the hero's attack power to the target. So I believe that the initial 90% is based on the target's stats, not the wielder's, but the second one is based on the wielder's. So in this case, again, it's good to have it on a ranged DPS or even a frontline DPS, doesn't matter too much, but that's what that one does, and that one is very good. I would definitely recommend leveling that one up. That one is very good. Bergamot Trash Bag. Upon receiving a critical hit, the wielder throws the Bergamot Trash Bag around them, decreasing a random stat on nearby enemies by 10% for 5 seconds and applying damage over time equal to 400% of the wielder's defense for 5 seconds. Cooldown 15 seconds. So basically this means that when your character receives a critical hit, in this case it says throws the Bergamot Trash Bag around them. I don't believe there's an animation in the game where they throw a bag around them. I think it just metaphorically means that around them in an AoE area, it decreases a random stat on the nearby enemy. So multiple enemies can be hit by this if they're nearby by 10%. So whatever the stat is, health, damage, healing, etc., that would last 5 seconds and applies damage equal to the wielder's defense. So this is based on your hero's defense. So in this case, you probably want it on a defender or tank hero. In this case, I've got it on my Conquest. You obviously can put it on whoever you want, but if you have it on your defender or your tank, then it means that the 400% of the wielder's defense stat will be obviously a higher amount of damage to the enemy because the defenders have higher defense stats. So you want it on your defensive tank, and it basically means that it gives a debuff to enemies around them when they receive a critical hit and deals damage to them. The next one we have is the GDA healing gel. Now this one I don't actually have. I believe it's only available to get paid. I mean, I've got 6 out of 50 here to build it. So yeah, if you have it, great. If not, don't worry too much. I wouldn't really spend money on artifacts personally, but again, entirely up to you. Yeah, when the hero applies any buff to an ally, it also applies a healing over time effect equal to 85% of their defense stat for 8 seconds. So basically, when the hero applies any buff, so healing, damage boost, things like this, it also applies a healing over time to 85% of the defensive stats. So this one I know is very good, for example, on Atom Eve, because every time she shields teammates, it also heals them. Now, it's based on the defensive stats, so you could, for example, say that if you have a tank or defender on the team that applies buffs to your allies, then it heals them. But in this case, maybe Robot or Atom Eve, someone like this, who affects the whole team, they are maybe better to have it because obviously their healing works out really nicely. So this is a very, very good one. I would say if you can get this one or do have this one, level up as much as possible. Very, very good, because it basically just gives an extra healing boost to your team, which is very, very useful. So definitely use that one if you can. The next one is the Flaxen Staff. This one, if an enemy deals more than 6% of the hero's max HP, so your hero that you have this on, as damage in a single hit, they deal the same damage back, pushing the enemy back and stunning them for 1 second, cooldown 10 seconds. So this basically means that if you have this on a hero and they receive in one attack more than 6% of your hero's max HP, then it deals that same damage back to the person who did it to your hero and pushes them and stuns them for 1 second. This one is very good. Again, I believe it's on the paid side, so it's entirely up to you. Very good if you can have it or can get it. This obviously is dependent on how strong your enemies are. So if you're against very strong enemies, then this will be triggered quite often. You probably want this on maybe a tank or something like this. Now, one cool thing to note is that obviously it deals the damage back, but also pushes the enemy back. And for example, a Nissa, two of her main abilities are based on enemies being pushed. So if you have this either on a Nissa or with a team with a Nissa, then this would massively increase the chance of her abilities to work well, and would mean that a Nissa could actually work really well with this Flaxen Staff. So that's a little tip. Second last one is the Medical Headband. This again is a new one, I believe is on the paid side. I don't have any of the parts for it. When you get a artifact to begin with, you need 50 parts to craft it, and then after that it's a certain amount to upgrade it. I should have mentioned that earlier, but obviously you either probably know that or can see that here. Obviously I've got 0 out of 50, so I can't build it yet, I can't use it. This passive ability means this device triggers an area of effect, healing all other allies present inside for 20% of the damage received. Cooldown 3 seconds. So obviously the wording here is a bit weird, but basically means that from what I can tell, when the person using it is damaged, an area effect is triggered and heals all the allies present within that area for 20% of however much the damage is received. Cooldown 3 seconds. So it doesn't do obviously too much healing. It's 20% of the damage you received, but because every 3 seconds, it's an every 3 seconds healing boost. So this one is incredibly good. Again, I believe you have to spend money to get it, but if you can get it or can use it, then this one is very, very good. Definitely get it leveled up. And you probably want this on a frontline team, because they'll be the ones who are taking the most damage, and they'll be taking the most damage most often as well. And then finally, as of right now, the latest one in the game, the Oxygen Helmet. Again, I believe it's just only available to be paid for, so again, up to you. Increases hero's defense by 60% for 15 seconds at the start of the wave. So this basically means start of the wave, so start of the fight or start of the wave if it's like a GDA op. The hero's defense is increased by 60%, which is a massive increase, but it only triggers for the first 15 seconds of the wave. and never after that. So obviously, if it's a long fight, it won't be useful later in the fight, but 15 seconds is a long time, and most fights are decided within the first 15 seconds. So I'd definitely say this one is very good. Up to you whether you want to spend money or not. I'd probably say it's not worth it, but if you could get it later on in the game, etc., then this one is very good, and you would probably want this, if you do have it, on a defender or tank hero, because they are the ones who obviously need their defense to be increased. Or if you have a DPS in your front line that dies very quickly and you want them to be able to last longer within the fight, then this can help. But you probably want this on your defender tank hero, definitely, if you do have it, obviously. And so yeah, that's all the artifacts in the game as of right now and what they do. The best ones, obviously the paid ones at the bottom, the GDA healing, flaxen staff, medical headband, oxygen helmet, are all very good. But if you have to pay for them, then obviously that's up to you. As of the ones that may be more acquirable, the best one I'd probably say is GDA cloaking device on a frontline DPS, the Bergamot burger on your frontline tank, the Mark Grayson's earpiece, the Cerulean Cosmos flower, Bergamot trash bag, obedience collar, battle hologram, body enhancement, flaxen drone trap. Those are probably the best ones. Damien Dark Buzz Notes is quite good. Those would be my recommendations, and yeah, that should be, as of right now, all the artifacts, what they do, what they are, etc. So yeah, hopefully that helped. So it's a bit of a long video. There's obviously a lot of artifacts in the game, but if you did enjoy and you got this far, then please consider liking the video, leaving a comment, what artifacts you found, what heroes are best to use them with as you found in your experience, and please subscribe to the channel for more. I've got more videos, guides, etc. coming soon, so if you would like to see that, then subscribing obviously means you get to see those as soon as they come out. And yeah, thank you for all the support in the previous videos, and yeah, take care, see you in the next one. Cheers.